Thanks for joining in. I'm Meranda Vieregge. I'm the editor-in-chief and community columnist here at Lincoln College. With me right now is Seth Goodman. He is the mayor-elect of the city of Lincoln and, of course, a few other things. If you know him, you know he's very involved in this community. Thanks for being with me today, Seth. So, like I said, you're very active in a lot of different outlets. I did a little research and I saw you were awarded numerous times through a lot of different facilities. The National Association of Realtors, Lincoln Logan Chamber of Commerce, and what I thought was interesting is you've been awarded the Illinois Association of Realtors President's Club Ruby Award 6 times.
A couple times.
Yeah, that's pretty instrumental.
Yeah, I think it's, the Ruby is actually the highest one you can achieve, and that's based on sales production. So, even though Lincoln and Logan County is a small area, I've been able to produce a large number in terms of volume for real estate sales. Yeah. So, very fortunate for that and very thankful.
With all this work and all the effort that you have to put into getting these awards and all the other things you've done, because you're the owner and a realtor at Me Realty. Right. I know you're involved in the Hot Air Balloon Festival. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff that I'm just skipping over. So where do you find time for all these, for the hobbies? And
I think the priority is you just make time. And I think, I'm one of those that always wants to be busy and on the go. So, you make time when you want to make time for what you want to make time for. So as a child, I was involved in a lot of sports, soccer, baseball, whatever my parents wanted me to do, basically, which I enjoyed them too, but as well as other things within the community, back, and I feel like, and maybe I just don't know enough about the school situation currently, but when I was in school, there were always things to do, whether that be community-based in the schooling or other programs outside of that, and my parents also were very involved in the community, so therefore I was able to do a lot of different things. So
one of the main areas of concern here in Lincoln is that there is not enough for the youth to do in town. What can you address about that? Do you have any advice to give?
Well, and like I said, I think there's a big difference between when I grew up and now. It just seems like our community was more involved, and I think that really stems with getting the families involved, again, with the local government, with other things happening in the community. I think that there's a lack of community pride due to our current state, not just in Lincoln, but also Illinois. And I think it's about involving the people and making them feel welcomed and valued within the community. I think bringing back that sense of community pride will, in turn, result in a lot of great things for our community.
So what made you decide to run for this election? What was it?
That was a good question. Actually one day I was with a friend going to St. Louis and I just decided I was going to run for mayor. But I was kind of prompted by that. A guy named Fuzz Worth in the community actually had reached out to me on Facebook back in 2015 and said you would be the perfect candidate for mayor. And it had never really crossed my mind because, as you mentioned, I am pretty involved and I love what I do. So I just didn't think that I could make it work, but I thought about it and he kind of pushed it. And that was really my main inspiration for doing it, and I've never looked back since then. So I'm looking forward to the future. I know it's going to be a challenge, but I've never turned my nose up at a challenge. So.
How were you feeling the days leading up to the election? Were you getting nervous? Did you have confidence?
I would say the month before I was pretty nervous, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. There was 4 very qualified, in my opinion, candidates running, of different ages and walks of life with different experiences. Yep. We all had something unique and different to bring to the table, which I thought was great for the citizens of Lincoln to have an option going into the election. Regardless of the outcome, I was still going to be involved in the community. The days right before the election, I was probably the most nervous, and then the night of, I was just kind of relaxed, thinking, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and I'm going to know that the community voted for that person, and I'm going to back them, no matter who it is. So when it happened that I was the one that got elected, I was kind of surprised, but I was excited, and I still am. I met with a lot of great people within the community, learned a lot of cool things already, and starting to build plans for the future. So we're definitely looking ahead and trying to make sure that Lincoln is in its best state moving forward. Marty Neitzel, the current mayor, she was wonderful. She has been wonderful ever since then as well. But that night she came up to me and she shook my hand and congratulated me and said, she wants to make sure that the transaction is as clean as possible. And I appreciate that, and I value her and her knowledge, most definitely.
Other than the other candidates, how has the reaction been from the general public that you've came in contact with?
I think it's been very positive. Even people of all different age groups have been very accepting and excited about the idea. They think that a fresh, innovative spin on things is exactly what Lincoln needs, and I think that they're excited to see the future and hope that I can help, along with everyone else that's involved, to retain our youth as well as attract others to the community. And that's really what we need at this point in time. Our population, not just here, but also the state of Illinois, has and is declining, and we've got to do something counteractive to try and not only keep our people and retain them, but also bring new people to the community. And I think given our location and what we have to offer, we can do that pretty easily with just the proper involvement.
But what are you expecting going into the office of mayor?
I'm not really expecting anything to be necessarily overbearing, because I know that there are people in the community that have the knowledge and the background that can help. And like I said, even if I can't do it, it's about involving people that can help to do it. And I think that's the key. Is I recognize from day one, and I still do, this is not a one-man show moving forward.
Right.
The mayor is not even a voting member of the council. So the key position of the mayor is to involve the right people, be a proud spokesperson of your community, and just know, like I said, who to involve and when. And so I think moving forward, I'm not really too concerned. I'm just excited and ready to work with the people of Lincoln.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you so much for being
for
with me
having me.
today.
It's a pleasure.
You guys, thank you for joining in.